What's up, everybody? I'm Bobby Goodsby, joined by my co-host Brent Wolgamott at One Lucky Gay. We are here for Big Brother NSFW. We're happy to have you after this Wednesday live episode, and we're here to break it all down. Brent, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fabulous. I have to say, I'm really excited that my namesake on the Big Brother show is doing so completely awful and is going to be forgotten about in like a minute, that like there's still a chance. So you're saying there's a chance, Bobby, that I could still make it on, and
so
they wouldn't be like, well, we don't want to get him confused with the other Brent and blah 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 blah. So yeah.
So no matter what, you can't be the Brent that sucks. Like, it's impossible.
Like, I think it would be really impossible. Like, I mean, I know I'm a lot. Believe me, I know. But
I guess it depends who you ask.
Yeah, I don't think. I think I couldn't do worse than week 3. I don't think I could do worse. I don't think I could do worse.
No, what will go down is possibly the biggest blindside in the history of Big Brother towards one single house guest. Where we just got such an exciting week ahead of us. So let's get into this episode, Brent. Let's talk about the very beginning. Brent is born late, but not last night is the quote of the night, I feel like.
Is that the quote?
He said, I was born late, but not last night. How does that make any sense?
That doesn't make any sense at all. That's what I'm like. I don't know what the quote is, but I know it's not that.
I was born at night, but not last night.
That's it. That's the quote. Thank you. So I knew. When these people, they try with their idioms, man. They try with their cliches that, you know, other people have said, but when they get them wrong, it's like, it all takes me back to the Future. And, you know, why don't you just make like a tree and get out of here? It's make like a tree and leave. You sound like a damn idiot when you say it wrong.
I was dying when he said that. I was like, wait a second, what is the correct term for that? Oh my God, I was dying. And then we get to that whole conversation about Brent basically thinking he's invincible, that no matter what, he's untouchable, and that he knows he's the target. He knows a person like him cannot go up on the block and just simply be a pawn.
I had a lot of trouble in this episode, basically trying to weigh Brent's diary room sessions with Brent's diary room sessions later and other things he said in the house all week long. Like, he's saying to us, I know X is lying. I know I'm not a pawn. I know I'm in danger. But then, like, I got the votes. It's going to be 9-2, maybe 10-1. I can't wait to see X's face, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I guess there's a way for it to make sense if he feels like, okay, X wants me out of the house. X wants me gone, but I got the votes. But the thing that he keeps forgetting is that he's never asked himself, how does Xavier feel like he can get this done?
Yeah.
Like, if Xavier's targeting me, why would Xavier feel like he could get me out of the house? Yeah. He's never said that. Maybe his pride doesn't want him to. Maybe he is afraid. I've been in this part of my life before where you don't want to ask yourself the question because you don't want to hear the answer, and he knows what the answer is, or maybe deep down he knows what the answer is. So I get it, but still, this was a buffoon of an episode for Brent.
Yeah, he's a young guy who's basically probably have everything in life handed to him on a silver platter, and then he goes into this house and he thinks, you know, his shit don't stink. Essentially, he thinks that no matter what, everyone is gonna be on his side. No matter what, he's got influences into everybody's game. He's got so much control in this house, nothing can touch him. But you're right. He never once assumed, why is X targeting me? How is this possible? Where is this coming from? And that's the biggest flaw in his game by far.
It really is. And I have to say that, you know, in many ways, I have a little bit of empathy for Brent. Not a lot, just a little. Because, you know, if you look back at previous seasons of Big Brother, I think a guy like Brent would have gotten his way many a time. Like, I think there would have been enough people in the house, enough sheeple in the house that they would have just said, okay, we'll do whatever you want, and we'll follow the big straight alpha male, white straight alpha male. And, you know, so I guess I see where he's coming from, but not this time, Mary. Not this time. Yeah.
All right, so we move on from that to Xavier talking to a hysterical Britney. Now, have we seen this much crying and hysterics from a person ever?
Well, here's the thing. I want to ask this question to you. Do you feel like that there is some benefit to her being absolutely hysterical? Because I know us on the outside, we're like, oh man, I want to see this bitch up on the block every week. Like this, she is absolutely entitled. I cannot with Britney. I want to see her nominated every freaking week. In fact, there are some people, I guarantee you, in fact, I'm one of them. I think I've even tweeted this at one point. I think I said this last week about Frenchie because I hated Britney so much then that I was like, I would rather keep Brent. Like, because Brent's aiming in a certain direction and like you could keep him as some muscle and he's a complete dunce. So why not just get Britney out of the house? Of course, I would make Azah mad and DF mad. I get all that. I get it. But still, it's nice to dream. She is so insufferable that I can't stand her. But within the house, though, she has garnered some empathy to the point where I don't feel like if next week, whoever is HOH, if they're looking for a pawn, I don't think they're going to look in Britney's direction because of all the hysterics. So I'm like, has she gained something from this?
Yeah, I agree. I do think that I don't think it was intentional. I think this is really Britney, and I think this is really her hysterics coming out, which back-to-back weeks on the block as, a pawn isn't easy in this house, but you got to look at who you're next to. Like, girl, you think they're going to go after you after you were just the pawn last week? You're the habitual pawn. Like, that's what this role is, and it's not great. It's not fun. But look who you're sitting next to. You're sitting next to a guy that is egotistical, a threat, and someone that the house all wants to target. So while I don't think it's intentional that she put herself in this position to get so much sympathy, I think it's working out for her, and I think it's working out great that she probably won't be a nominee, going forward for at least for a week or two. But I don't think that this is something that she, in her mindset, was intentionally trying to do, which I feel is a flaw.
I concur with that. I mean, maybe. I think there's maybe a little bit of it where she's like, maybe if I cry enough, maybe they'll feel bad enough that they won't put me on the block. I don't think she's thinking about it from a purely strategic level. I think she's thinking about it from an emotional place where maybe if I make them feel guilty enough, then they won't nominate me next time. But I think she thought that last week, and then look what happened this week. Well, a couple things here. So Britney, girl, if you want to change the story, then change your narrative. I don't understand why she's just crying to everybody in the house as though she's deserved of something. There's nothing nobody deserves anything in the Big Brother game. It's a game. It is a zero-sum game where there's one winner at the end. If you want to change your fate, then fucking change it. Don't just give this bullshit about how you almost won competition. Do you know, Bobby, that she said on the feeds that she almost won this veto competition? Bitch, she was out round one. I mean, not week one. Round one. I'm so mad. I can't even talk. She was out round one. What is she talking about? She is just so full of hot air. I cannot with her. I just can't. If you want to change your fate, do something about it. It just pisses me off that she thinks that people should just do things for her. Here's the thing. I would never be that way in the Big Brother house. I can't identify with somebody who can, because I recognize that, look, two people go up on the block. And if I'm going up on the block, that means that I'm expendable to someone. She has to realize, look, I'm expendable to Kyland. I'm expendable to Xavier. They put me on the block. Obviously, I'm not in their long-term plans. How do I change that? Changing that does not happen by you going around crying to everybody. It changes by you going to people, getting them to trust you, getting them to like you, getting them to include you in their plans, and telling you things that they don't tell other people. And right now, the only person who's telling Britney anything is Azah.
Yeah, well said. I completely agree in the fact that if you're going to make a change in your game, if you're going to be the person that's going to be influential in this house and make a stance and prove yourself in this house and show, hey, listen, I don't want to be the pawn. This is what I have to do. This is the moves I've got to make. You got to go out and make them, because no one's going to make them for you. Sitting in a room crying to people that are already on your side isn't going to help your game. You need to go to the other side of the house, to the people that you don't normally talk game with, and make moves that way. Otherwise, you're going to be up there week after week after week, or you're going to be someone that's always expendable to people in this house.
Yeah,
so,
and
Plain and
I
simple.
mean, the other thing she didn't do was when we didn't talk about Sunday's episode, but when going to Xavier to try to campaign for herself, she'd never ever told Xavier why it was a bad idea for Xavier's game to use her as a nominee. She never ever thought to even do that, which leads me to believe that her strategic game is pretty shallow. Everything was about her and how it would make her feel and why she shouldn't have to be there. Now, she had already done her place last week. Like, it was never about Xavier and Xavier's game. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people miss in Big Brother. I certainly missed it when I played a few reality games a few times, is looking at things from other people's perspective, not from my perspective. Or sometimes maybe I do look at it from their perspective, but I don't explain it well enough. Hi, Bobby. Sequester, RHAP tournament, when explaining them that they need to be with me and not with people that they might be with already, and then get taken to the end and have no chance to win. I'm just saying.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
You know what? Okay, I have really no rebuttal to that. Actually,
I know, right? You know it's true. Yeah.
I was nervous. Okay, there was a lot of people I never met.
I know. I just want to point out that a year after that, I'm still the only person who returns Bobby's texts, and somehow he turned on me in that game. He turned on me and plotted against me, and I'm like, would you like to come on my show? Come over here and podcast with me. Have any of the people at RHAP returned your calls lately? No, I don't think so. Just saying. Okay, go ahead.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things we could go with that one. But no, essentially, I am indebted to you. So next time we play, I got your back. Okay?
You got my back.
I got your back.
Cool. All right.
I don't even remember where we were going.
We were talking about Britney and how
she
never put things from Xavier's point of view, and even when if she tried to, it fell on deaf ears. Like she was never able to come at it from his point of view, and obviously I fail at that. So I have empathy for her in that respect. That
absolutely
she's incapable of doing that, but that's why she's failing right now. I mean, at least I can recognize it from the outside. Again, I'm a much better commentator than I am player. I just want to point that out.
Absolutely. Britney's in a position where she needs to make moves. She needs to start strategizing with the rest of the house other than just the jokers. She needs to realize this isn't how you're going to get far in this game. If you're going to get far, you've got to start making moves. I don't know if she's capable of it. I think she's in a position now where we saw someone like Derek X able to work his way from the bottom into a very, very solid place in the house. I don't know if I can say the same for Britney. So
yeah, I know, right? Isn't that's such a great example too? Let's just stop for a second and put a pin in that, because Derek X was so on the outside. I mean, he could have gone home week 1. He really could have. Hadn't really watched the show before. I think he said on the feed that he watched like 16, 19, and 21. So he hasn't watched a ton of the show, never really watched the feeds, just watched the episodes, and is really trying to pick up the game on the fly. But he's a warm and empathetic guy. He's gotten in there, and now like every alliance that I hear includes Derek X. Every alliance I hear is all about, like, what about the kings and the queens with Derek X? Or what about the aces and the queens with Derek X? Or what about the jokers with Derek X and these two people? Like, it's all with Derek X.
Yep.
Because he's somebody you want to include in your plans, and he's seen as somebody that you want to bring in, whereas Britney, I've never heard her name brought up in any of those.
Yeah, he's very malleable. He's willing to talk game with other people that maybe aren't even in his side of the alliance. That he's willing to make moves and move around this house as much as he needs to, and he's picking up the game. This is someone that's never watched the show.
I know.
Like, we always say, we always make fun of these recruits, and now we're getting a recruit that's actually doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah,
and who struggled at the beginning. So this is one of those times that I'm actually very, very happy with this recruiting choice.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't know anybody that's not. I'm thrilled. It was a little rough, I think, week 1 watching him.
Yes.
Sort of like a baby deer that's learning to walk. But now he's found he's found his legs, and it's fun to watch him.
Very happy to see. Also, they love that sequester mini.
That sequester mini was everything. It really was
everything.
That was a lot. That was so much fun. Yeah.
Until you get voted out Final Four and take out Queen Liana, and then read the comments about how you're the most hated person in rap history. All right, so going on, let's move on. So then we have Azah talking about how she's pissed about the nominations, pissed that Britney's up. Honestly, I understand. Azah is such a great person outside of this game. You can tell she's just a genuine person,
really
wears her heart on her
She
sleeve,
really is.
and it's just so caring towards others. But that's not how you play Big Brother. That's not the game you signed up for. And I know you love Britney. She's on your team. She's someone you care about, and you hate to see her upset. But you're in a great position in the cookout, have people, wanting to work with you. And now you're really setting yourself back by putting yourself forward for this person that's really a dead man walking. What do you think, Brent?
I mean, this is such a case study in someone who came into the Big Brother house, I think was probably either 1 or 2 on everybody's favorite list. You watched her interviews or interview. I think we got like 1. You watched some of her preseason stuff, read her application and her bio. And she's just someone that has such a warm, inviting presence that you can't help but root for her. And we were all rooting for her. And as time has gone on over the past week and a half, it has become clear to me that she is just not cut out for this game. She's just not.
She's just not.
Yeah, she's not. She's a great gal. I think I would love to have her over. I'd love to have her on. Like all of this. I mean, everything about her is just so great. And look, the great thing about her position is she's not playing well at all. But she has a good position in the house. And position, as I always said over at RHAP, is king. Because that can save you even when you're playing badly. And make no mistake, right now, I think she's playing pretty badly. She's playing with her emotions. She doesn't see what's in front of her. She doesn't seem to even when she's trying to, here's the thing I don't understand. She is supposed to be a salesperson or in sales somehow, and yet she cannot fake it with some of these people. She wears her emotions, her heart on her sleeve. You can see it if she's pissed with you. Tiffany knows Azah is not having it with her right now. But that to me, that's on Azah. That's on Azah. You're the one who asked for that conversation. You behaved a certain way when talking to Tiffany. Tiffany felt like it was you heard her relate it back to X. She was like, that was confrontational. She came at me. Yep. And that's just not a way to play Big Brother. She's going to have, here's the thing. She has some credit on the ledger right now because of the cookout and her connections to that. Okay. But that only lasts so long. And eventually her chickens are going to come home to roost. The invoice is going to come due on her bad gameplay if she cannot get it together, which is one reason why I thought that taking out Britney this week or next might actually be a good play. That would sever that connection and maybe wake her up. On the other hand, it might drive her away. So what do I know? Yeah,
honestly, Azah, it's very frustrating to watch because I feel for her on a human level, but on a game level, you're a fan. You said that your favorite player was June. You saw how June played this game. You saw how she had to, stab people in the back to get where she went to win the whole thing. So you knew this was a part of the game, and you're not willing to do the same things that the person you say is your favorite player did in the game. So what did you expect was going to happen? Obviously, you are in a great position with the cookout and with people having your back, wanting to work with you on multiple levels. And now you're fighting for someone that's basically just kind of floating around waiting to get voted out. It makes no sense to me. I understand emotionally where she's coming from, but it's just not a good long-term game. And I know she knows that she's probably not made for this game, that maybe she thought that she can make those same moves June did, but it's not happening with her.
It's not happening. Wow. That's the thing that really gets to me is that she says that June is her favorite player, and yet she seems incapable of doing the things that are necessary in the Big Brother game. This is a particular point where I'm going to stick a pin in it. I think there are a lot of people who are fans of Azah still out there, even in spite of her bad gameplay, in spite of her offering herself up as a pawn, even in spite of her saying, I don't care if I go home this week, just say Britney. Even in spite of her saying all those things, there's still people that are fans of her. She's going to be around a little while, and I'm willing to let it percolate a little bit. I'm willing to see how this marinates with her and see how the game develops. I don't feel great about where Azah is right now, but I'm willing to. I guess she's going to be around at least a couple weeks, so let's see what.
We're going to have to wait and see.
I will say this though: if I were Tiffany, I'd want her out pre-jury because it's clear she does not like her. If you want to win the game, I don't think Azah can be there. If that's one vote against you, now maybe she will vote for Tiffany in the end. Maybe who knows? I don't know. But right now it doesn't look that way. if I was Tiffany, I'd want to get Azah out right before jury.
And I completely agree with you. Best thing to happen to Azah would be if Britney went home this week, because then she's not emotionally invested. And then maybe she'd start playing the game a little harder. But it doesn't look like that's happening. Jen T, thank you so much for the donation. Brent, I found you. Missed you on my Big Brother live feed recap. So now you have him here with us.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's amazing how many I have. Maybe I need to do a better job of advertising. I mean, I feel like I tweet about it. I feel like I put it on my Facebook. I put it on my Instagram. I mean, I don't always do all those things, but I feel like I've done it enough where people know where I'm at. So, like, I don't know where to tell people. I mean, you know, aside from like going into the RHAP comments and saying, "Hi, I'm over at Aria, Reality NSFW," which I feel like that's bad form. You know, I mean, I would never.
It's bad taste.
First of all, I know I might bring them up once in a while, but I have nothing but respect for everybody over at RHAP. I love Rob, Taryn, Melissa, love everybody over there. They do great work. And if you're not listening to us, please listen to them. Or after you listen to us, go listen to them. They're fabulous. But thank you. I'm glad you found me. And hopefully you can come back here every Wednesday night.
Yep, nothing but the best to our old friends over at RHAP. Yeah, maybe we should just make a billboard or something so that people can see it and we can post it all over.
Right? I know, right?
All right, so next, the Aces discuss the nominations, and we see Derek X, Whitney, and oh my gosh, who's the last person I'm blanking on the Aces? Hannah. They're all in the room discussing how basically they're excited about these nominations. They're ready to backstab Brent, and then in comes a cocky Brent who is basically thinking his shit don't stink, like I've said multiple times.
Right. I thought this was good. So I don't know that. I think it was Derek or DX who said we need to we need to get on the same page about what we're going to tell Brent. I guess, first of all, if I'm Whitney and Hannah, I'm thankful that DX just said this because, yes, we do all need to get on the same page. However, I don't know that it was good for him to be the one to say it because I feel like that could bite him in the ass later on. You know, when people remember things, and in next week or the week after that, I can see Hannah or Whitney saying to themselves, "Remember when he said this? Like, he's a sneaky guy, man. I don't know. Like, remember when he brought that up and blah blah blah." Like, I'm just saying. You only have so much currency in the Big Brother house, and it's like a vending machine, and once you hit like $1, then people start looking at you. And I feel like DX has already put in a quarter or two into there, and he just needs to be careful about how much he uses and what people remember about what he's doing within the game because they already fear him a little bit. Remember, he does have 2 veto wins.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the 2 veto wins is definitely something that he needs to lay low on. Definitely don't bring it up. It's already in people's memories, but don't be someone that's bragging about being a competition beast. Not saying he is doing that, but people already recognize that. People already recognize what kind of threat you are.
Yeah.
Don't put any more pressure on that situation. I do disagree. I think that this isn't necessarily the worst thing for him. I get where you're saying that it is putting that shadow of a doubt in their head.
Yeah.
But I still think that he was in the bottom. He was in a spot where he was a dead man walking. So he needs to throw his power around a little bit.
No, that's fair.
And I think
it was totally worth it. Like, I mean, to get the comedy of Brent, it was totally worth it. For him to be like, let's all get on the same page. And then Brent walks in the room and they're like, oh my God, like we have no idea what's happening. But as far as we know, Britney, totally the target. Just want to let you know.
This whole episode was just a Brent smashing episode.
It really was.
Annihilating.
Oh my God. So let's just, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
No. You're fine. I was just going to say, if the last episode wasn't burying him enough, this one completely covered him up with soil.
It really did. Boy, they really took the shovel and put some more dirt on top of him. When they showed the diary room of him saying, you know, I don't know, I'm thinking this is a pretty good plan. I mean, America, tell me if I'm wrong. But and I'm like, girl, you are wrong. I'm hoping, I tweeted this too, I'm really hoping that somebody sits Brent down to watch these episodes. I mean, they really have to show him everything because it's just comedy gold.
Honestly, I don't see how in his head he can't see when he's coming off so arrogant.
Well, this is it's not just that. It's that within the house, I don't understand because it seems like a few people have slipped a few times. DX or not DX. DF has Derek F. Big D has slipped a few times. Some other people have illuminated plans about next week that seemingly didn't involve Brent. That would be the biggest telltale sign. I remember I can't remember who was it. Was it Mike Boogie? Maybe somebody was talking about the fact when people are talking about future plans. Maybe it was Tyson on RHAP. When he's talking, I think that was what it was. Tyson. Yeah. When he's talking about people, the biggest tell that you're going home is when people don't make future plans with you. They don't get excited, or when you try to talk about future plans, that their response is just agreeing with you. Like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we should do that. Yeah, totally. I love what you're thinking. Like when they just agree with you and they don't engage with you, that should be the sign that something's wrong.
That's such a great observational point. And that's, obviously someone who's played multiple times. That's something you pick up on easily, especially when you're the one doing that to other people. Yeah. But that's a great point. And I still feel like this is going to be a great blindside on Brent. I still feel like this is I'm hoping everything goes according to plan, because this could be great. This could be absolutely great, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. Okay. So next, where was that? Whitney and Hannah believe they are the reason Brent was nominated. There was one point in that conversation where they're talking about how basically this is something that they helped create, that this was something that they definitely helped create in the situation towards Brent going home. I feel like they're further from the truth.
They're pretty far from the truth. I feel like Brent is the reason that Brent is going home. Like it has really had nothing to do with them. I mean, maybe they got on board. The thing about Whitney, from my perspective, is she saved herself by wanting to target Brent, because the fact that Brent became a target, they were going to put Brent and Whitney up on the block. Those were the nominations from X's point of view. Xavier was going to nominate Brent and Whitney the night before nominations, and then I'm a little shaky on the timeline, but I know Whitney came around to the idea of, I want Brent out. I know she was even wanting him out last week, but the fact that she was so gung-ho about this, I really feel like was one of the reasons why she's not on the block right now. And then people feel like, okay, well, we can keep her around a little while because she's in on the plan and she's cool with that. If she had been fighting that plan, I feel like she would have been up with him.
Yeah, Whitney's done some great work this week, basically helping her get further along. And I don't know if it's intentional. I think some of it is just she kind of said the right things to the right people at the right time. But
I feel like, so we haven't talked about this wasn't on the episode, but I think it was yesterday where Whitney went to Christian and Alyssa and proposed basically a revival of the Slaughterhouse minus Frenchie minus Brent, maybe with a few other people. And of course, Christian and Alyssa were like, I think Xavier was included in that, but they really don't trust the queens. They don't trust Tiffany, don't trust Claire. Whitney is trying to change her fate. I don't know if she realizes how precarious her fate is in the house right now, but I give her fucking credit, man, for trying to do something proactively in the Big Brother house and not just be like, okay, well, this week's done. Brent's going home. I can sit back and snooze, which is what a lot of people are doing. I shouldn't say not a lot of people. Some people are doing. A lot of people are still gaming. So good for Whitney. Look, she's not one of my favorite people. I don't think most of Twitter is rooting for her. But I'm pleased to see that even the people that I'm not necessarily rooting for are really playing hard this season. Claire, somebody else I think is a bit more of a Twitter fave, mainly because of her connection to Tiffany and the fact that she is an orger like many of us. She has actively been trying to sandbag Kyland for quite a few times to Tiffany, because Tiffany is very close to Kyland and Claire sees Kyland as a threat and wants to pull Tiffany away from Kyland. This has all been happening around the Brent eviction. And basically, it's really weird because we're watching the episodes and it's a Brent eviction. It's all about Brent, him trying to save himself with the veto. When in reality, bitch, these people have moved on. They have moved on. I think there might have been a split second when they were like, maybe we should keep Brent. But basically, it's Brent. Brent's going to go home. And these people are already gaming for next week. And there are so many people who are playing hard. There are so many people who are even fans of Claire who are like, I hate Claire because she's trying to turn Tiff against Kyland, which Claire should be doing. But if you're rooting for the cookout, it is hard to watch because you're rooting for them. So you don't want Tiffany to turn against Kyland. But you recognize that Claire has to do what Claire has to do in order to try to win the game. It's beautiful to watch. So many people playing. By the way, while I'm thinking about it, Janelle, girl, I love you, but I don't know what you're saying. When she said that this week was boring, I understand where she's coming from in that, like, the fait accompli of the week, meaning Brent going home, that's boring. I get that. But everything else that's happening around the house right now is not boring. And it's not one person like Cody, like last season on All-Stars, controlling the house. It's like 4 or 5 different people, all with different ways of thinking about the game, all with different pecking orders in their head, all thinking about controlling the house. Even DF, who I think is a bit of a joke in some ways, but he at least knows how to play the game. And I know that people make fun of him for not being a big part of the game, but he has a great position. Don't underestimate Big D. I really do feel like that he could go far in this game, because who's going to take him out? The cookout ain't going to take him out. Many other people aren't going to take him out. He knows what to do and what to say to most people most of the time, and he's absolutely abysmal at physical competitions. I see him in the final 2, if I'm being totally honest.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, seriously though, he's going to be the last Joker standing, no matter what.
I say that's definitely true. Yeah,
I 100% believe that wholeheartedly, and I agree with you. I think that this week, this whole season, we've had so many sides to this house fighting and clawing week after week after week. And yes, it sucks to see Claire trying to pit Kyland against Tiffany. But this is what we wanted. We wanted people to play the game, not just for one big alliance, but for themselves. And now we're getting that, and we're kind of getting frustrated. It's like we can't make ourselves happy in any way, shape, or form.
Well, it's amazing because we're kind of getting what we want. Like, basically, all the douches have gotten evicted, and it's like, wow, like every week we're getting what we want. And these people can actually stick to a plan. Like, if they say Frenchie's going home, Frenchie's going home. Like, Brent's going home, Brent's going home. Like, they don't change the plan 5,000 times like they did on Big Brother Canada 9, where we had to, like, kvetch about it, every day of the week.
Unless you're Frenchie week 1.
I know, right? Yeah. But, like, it's amazing in that we're still getting everything we want. And in some ways, so many people are still bored by it. But I'm like, you should not be bored, because, like, I think this week upcoming is the telltale week.
Yes. Because
there are no easy nominations at this point. There are just not. The last white man in the house is Christian. He is tied to Alyssa. He is tied to Xavier. Like, that is not easy to take a shot at him. And if you put Christian up, you're probably going to have to put Alyssa up with him. That is a bold move. And these people are all about, well, we don't want to piss off many people. We want other people to do our dirty work for us. But who's going to do that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where you can't say it's boring when it's someone that you're wanting to go home as a fan base, that you all can agree upon that this person needs to go, this person's not fun to watch, or this is someone we're loving to root against. Then yes, it's fine if it's a boring week if we can get them out. The house itself has not been boring. The people playing the game have not been boring. Yes, it's predictable. Yes, it's kind of gone according to plan. But inside the house, the dynamics within the game are absolutely, completely changing and
it really is
fluid.
I mean, to be like totally NSFW about it, like, I feel like last season I was getting blue balls, where this season I'm like, I'm really feeling good, you guys. I'm really feeling good. Like, I mean, because like I'm getting off, you know what I mean? Like, I'm getting off on everything that's happening this season, and I'm really excited about it because the strategy is so deep and the thinking is so grand, and people recognize other people as threats, and they're trying to pull people away and push people away, and yes, there are a couple of weird things like Sarah Beth targeting Hannah for some reason. I don't understand that, and I don't understand why Azah and DF have such a problem with Hannah being in the cookout. And I know that sometimes most people say the 6 instead of the 5, but you can't deny that Hannah is invariably seen as number 6, and she's not been told about the name of the cookout. So it does kind of bug me. Yes, there are some things that I don't like, but overall, bitch, I am being fed, and I am so fucking excited about it.
All right. So last thing I want to talk about in this conversation is Brent had another great line in it. He is not dumb. He is highly intelligent despite his body. Basically saying that his body doesn't make him look intelligent, but he is highly intelligent.
It's so amazing.
I would have such great horrible lines.
I know, right? It's just, it really is like don't like. I know I might. There's a better way to say that. He sounds like such a pompous ass when he says it like that. Like,
he not only doesn't say it correctly, just what he's trying to say is a douchey thing to say. Yeah. So no matter what,
like, the way you say something like that is, I might look like a dummy, but I'm not a dummy. That's how you say it, not like a narcissistic asshole.
Yeah,
Which
not my
I
body
understand.
makes me look not
Like-
intelligent, but I'm very intelligent.
Like I totally like. Here's the thing. Like like I've I don't know. I don't think I've ever told this on. I think I have talked about this on podcast, maybe with Taryn when I did the Taryn show thing. Like I mean, I understand. Like my doctor told me I'm a narcissist. Like I get the narcissism. I think there are lots of people. We're all reality TV junkies. We're all a little bit like we think about ourselves on these shows. So I think feel like there's a little bit of narcissism in all of us because we feel like okay, we can do it better. Like so, I get where he's coming from. But, like there's a line there, and I feel like even I know where the line is. And I know when I'm going over it. I feel like maybe either he doesn't know when he's going over it or he doesn't fucking care. One of the two.
Yeah, 100%. All right. And one more little line that he said. His body perceives his intelligence. What does that even mean?
What is that? I was going to say, what does that even mean? I must have missed that because it didn't make sense.
His body perceives his intelligence.
Perceives?
That's what he said.
Perceives?
And they literally wrote it on there to let you know that is what he said. Perceives intelligence.
I cannot help you on that one.
I don't even know where he was going with that. Like, yeah. So
I'm trying to think of the word that makes sense there, but
no,
yeah.
like he doesn't perceive to be intelligent because of his body, but like,
maybe,
why would you ever word it like? Okay,
yeah, the syntax is all wrong for that to make sense. Yeah,
it does. But in his head, that was completely the right thing to say. Like, he thought, oh, I just nailed that. Like that, they totally understand what I'm saying. Yes. God bless him. God bless him, kid. Man. He's got a bright future.
By the way, I see Boston Girl in the chat saying Hannah is my favorite right now. I concur. I won't say, I don't know if she is my favorite, but she is one of my faves. She's just got such a great air about her, such a great energy. I feel like she's gaming enough. I do feel like she's a little clueless on some things, maybe a little bit in danger this next coming week, and she doesn't really realize it. But I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful that she can get out of it or somehow save herself. And I love what I get from her. And I think it's also impossible not to love her. Like during the HOH competition when her and DX both threw it at the same time and they were like this. Like, I mean, like that. Oh my God. They were so cute. They were so cute. Like, how can you not love her? And then, by the way, okay. So the, I don't know. Have you gotten to the thing about when, so in the episode, Hannah was talking to Xavier in the HOH room. Do you remember that part?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, right before the competition.
Right before the competition. Oh, she was talking about how the cookout has a shared camaraderie and shared life experience together.
Yes.
And what they didn't show, I tweeted about this, the Big Brother 23 producers, we see you, bitch, again, trying to hide your problematic bullshit. Again, the thing about problematic bullshit is you got to shine a light on it and show it to people. Brent said that one of the reasons why he felt like he was nominated and not other people were nominated was because it was a black thing. That's what he said about Xavier's HOH reign. Hannah then brought that back to Xavier, told him that. Xavier was like, oh, you need to be careful if you're trying to make it some racist point, Brent. And then that's when Hannah said what you saw on the episode about how, it's the people that are working together have a shared common experience, a shared life experience. We get each other. And Brent was just so far off base in saying something like that. I haven't heard him say it a lot, but it did come out of his mouth. And I kind of wish they would have shown it on the episode. But then again, they're really going for the buffoon Brent edit, not the villain Brent edit. So I guess maybe they feel like we can't handle both.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think they're going for more like, look at this dummy who thinks he's, his shit don't stink. He's this guy that thinks that everything's going his way. They're not wanting to completely throw him under the bus when showing something like that. Even though I agree with you, I think that is something that they do need to bring to light, especially in a situation where the house has changed. We now have half a house of people of color in the house that are doing great in this game, and it's just. There is that common interest between the cookout. And I just feel bad for Hannah that she is not more a part of this group, that she's not fully accepted by this group, because I think she's such a great influence and such a great person to have on board. That is probably the most willing to be a part of the cookout. She's probably the most loyal member of the cookout, even though she's on kind of the outside looking in. And I feel for her.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too bent out of shape about it. I already tweeted about it. It does kind of bug me how Azah and DF feel a certain type of way about Hannah. But then I heard DF say something earlier today, like about the 6. So I think it's mainly Azah at this point. So, I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut and see what develops. But I hope that Hannah. Yes, Boston. I agree. I love Hannah.
All right, so we come back from break, and Azah checks on X. X is upset that he made Britney cry. This is where I feel for X. Like, yeah, he doesn't want to see people upset, but this is a game. You're playing the game. You're doing exactly what you should do in this game for your alliance. He had a very strong HOH week, in my opinion. Him and Kylan both had very, very strong HOH weeks that I think that will only help them moving forward. Yeah. I get it. It's an emotional standpoint that it hurts your heart, but you're doing the right thing for your game.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's you need to look no further than week 2, week 3, week 1, week 2, week 3. Frenchie made a mess of things, was instantly targeted, evicted from the house. Kylan went after the house target. He's still beloved. Xavier went after the house target. He's still beloved. People are taking a note from that and realizing like how I should play Big Brother. I do hope that it doesn't get so snoozy. Again, I know that people are complaining about some of the snoozy nominations, snoozy targets. Janelle, obviously, on Twitter. Other people have said the same thing. I don't mean to call it Janelle. It's just like she was the one who was the most famous person who said that this game was getting a little boring. Again, next week, bitch, there are no more gimmies. There are no more 2-foot putts. You're gonna have to put a player up next week, and that's given the way these people game, that's gonna cause everybody to feel a certain type of way. Yeah, I really do feel like.
All right, so next we got Azah confronting Tiffany about what happened in the previous episode where we saw her and Derek X basically targeting Britney in the competition. Brent, let's break this conversation down. Okay,
so first of all, they're both wrong, but not from a human standpoint, but strictly from a Big Brother standpoint. I feel like Azah was looking for a fight. It wasn't she came at her confrontational, and it's not about what I say, it's about what Tiffany says. Tiffany said it felt confrontational to her, so obviously Azah failed on that point from a Big Brother standpoint. Tiffany, on the flip side, also kind of failed. She was annoyed. It was all over her face that she was annoyed. Why is Azah coming to me, asking me about this? We're trying to keep you safe. We didn't want to use you as a pawn. We had to make sure Britney was available to be nominated, and I made sure that happened. Why are you bitching to me? I mean, that's basically the attitude that Tiffany had. So it's just two people talking to each other. Tiffany said it in the episode, in the diary room. Azah plays the game emotionally. I'm playing the game, meaning Tiffany. I'm playing the game a lot more logically, and we're just going to have to agree that each of us would have handled things a little bit differently. I think that if I were Tiffany, and I had to do this in Sequester season 4, and you saw me with the hand holding, oh my God, like I would grab people's hands. But I do think it's effective. I know people made fun of me for it, but I do feel like it's effective. If I were Tiffany, maybe she grabs her hand, maybe she puts her arm around her, maybe she says, "Look, girl," and like looks at her and says, "I did this to save you. I know you're having a rough time. I get it. I feel terrible about that. But I could not see you be in danger this week. It had to be Britney up on the block." I mean, I feel like there's a way that because this conversation was on the feed, I feel like there's a way that she could have done this in a way that would have made Azah feel a lot better at the end of the conversation. But I feel like from Tiffany's standpoint, she just knew that Azah was through with her. So she's like, you know what, whatever,
This is where Tiffany's game is. This is the only part of Tiffany's game that I don't love. And it's the fact that when she feels she's right about something, she won't go down to like Azah and be like, you know what, exactly what you're saying. I'm sorry. This is how I felt like I had to do it. I understand where you're coming from. She strongly believes in what she believes, but won't basically apologize for it.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like
that would have gone a long way. Like her apologizing to Azah and maybe to Britney. You know what? Who cares? Like it's a fake apology, but give it to them.
Exactly. Yeah. This is something we saw Derek Levasseur in Big Brother 16. Even though he made a move, he'd go back and apologize for it later. Or even you go to, let me see here. Dan would go in Big Brother 14, make a move, and then go and apologize for it and be like, we saw that time after time after time with Dan in Big Brother 14.
Yeah, I know.
Now, it eventually caught up to him, But that's the kind of game you have
Still
to
made
play.
it to the end, though.
Still made it to the end, and he got further in the game because he did stuff like that. He would have gone out much earlier had he not made moves like that. He wouldn't be the legend he is today if he didn't do stuff like that. So
that's the T.
And that's honestly how you have to play this game. You can't be caught up in your own thoughts and processes about you're in the right. You have to go down to other people's feelings and really consider their feelings and try to downplay it.
Yeah, it's all about what I talked about with Xavier and Britney, but from a different point of view. It's all about looking at it from their point of view. Things in the Big Brother house would happen so much easier if everybody could put themselves in other people's shoes. And that's what I feel like Tiffany doesn't do a great job of doing in this conversation with Azah. I know Tiffany personally. I don't know her personally, but I know her personally has no problem with the way things happened this week. She's like, look, it was a game. We had to make this happen. But you have to look at it from Azah's point of view, realizing who Azah is, realizing how big of a family she comes from, the fact that she feels kinship with Britney, and look at it from her standpoint and try to make her feel better about the situation. And I feel like no tea, but Tiffany really failed. I think it's only because of their connections through the cookout that they are still as good as they are, because if they hadn't been connected, I do feel like they would be targeting each other going into next week.
And that's where I feel like Tiffany's game could really struggle if down the line she has to, stab someone in the back or make a move against her alliance, and she's not willing to hear them out or hear how other people feel about that move. It might make her look like a game bot and someone that's strictly just in it for the game. And I don't know if that'll help her down the line to get votes to win the game. It might be the right play, but that's where I see her game slightly struggling. And I love her. I think she's doing a phenomenal job in this house, but that's the one thing if I could change, I'd be like, listen, just play to people's egos a little bit, or just downplay what you're doing and listen to people and agree with people. That's how you have to be malleable in the house.
I think I agree with you. Like in my heart of hearts, I don't want to agree with you, but I think I feel like I'm compelled to agree with you only because I'm looking at the history of Big Brother, and female game bots typically aren't rewarded, but I don't know how many of them that we've had. Like Vanessa. If Vanessa got to the end, though, she would have been rewarded. Like June, I guess you could call her kind of one. I'm trying to think of other people who might have been a game bot who were women. Man, I don't know. I just feel like, here's the thing. I don't even have to look at the history. I can look at Survivor and other games and look at the fact that women are held to a higher standard. I feel like when it comes to strategy at the end of these games, guys get away with more bullshit. Women have to pay the piper a little bit more. So assuming that's true in this game, I'm not sure that it is with this cast, but assuming that's true, I concur with you that Tiffany would do well to throw a little bit more bullshit on with the way she does things and just smooth it off a little bit better, And
like I said, it's not necessarily with this cast. I could be dead wrong. Maybe she's playing it perfectly, but it's from the Big Brother history. That's the game you've been needing to play to be able to get further in this house and also potentially win. And that's how I feel.
Yeah.
All right. So next we come back from break and we see Christian and Alyssa. They are in X's HOH bed and they decide to get a little extra cuddly under the covers. Everyone's favorite scene every single year is that Showmance scene where they're kissing under the covers. But there were some fun things I got to take from this.
Lots of fun things, yes.
Yes, like basically that Christian lives with his parents, so he doesn't mind that X walked in because it's nothing that would have been different at home. Like, that's great. You should definitely tell her that.
Right. I love this. And we also got the bow chicka bow wow music, when they're underneath the covers, which I kind of have missed it. I'm kind of being real about that. Yeah. And then the fact that X came in the middle of them kissing, and I love the fact that, okay, I'm gonna jump forward. So X is like, oh my God, you guys. And then he walked out and then they get up and Alyssa's like, I told you that would happen. Like, she's like, why didn't you do something? He's like, well, what? Like, you were going after me so strong. And she's just like, she knows it's true though. Like
she knows in her heart she should not be doing this, but she's
she didn't care.
She's a young girl with a young guy that just they're getting hot and heavy.
Two young people.
They haven't had a lot of sexual feelings in the house. Being locked in there. I'm sure it's difficult, but she knows in her head that was a bad move.
She didn't care.
He's just like, I don't care.
I don't care.
This
is
is
like,
the
you know what?
best
Fuck it.
day.
I don't care. And that's what the producers are counting on. I mean, they're counting on people being like, you know what? You're hot. Man, we're in here together. Man,
At least it's not another April and Ollie situation. I'll tell you
that's
that
true.
much.
Yeah, that's true. That was good times, though. Good times.
Good times in the house. Great times with the feeds.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh man. All right. So we get past that. X just can't believe it's happening in his bed. That's the best part about it.
Yeah, the look he gave was great when he was
he's
like,
really?
Couch. I'm like,
come on.
But who's gonna use the couch?
X? No, you gotta go into hiding.
Come on. Yeah.
All right. So next we get to the veto draw. For the veto draw, we see Christian, Derek F, and Whitney all drawn to compete in the competition. Basically, this worked out kind of for both people if Whitney was actually playing for Brent. Brent, in his head, thought, I just need someone from my team to be up there for me. Yeah. And it's not working out in his favor.
I mean, I saw Jenny Autumn from RHAP tweet this. The veto competition really could have been an email and not an entire competition. I mean, do we agree? Like, do we really have to talk about this? Like, I mean, I know, there's so many things I can talk about this week. I don't want to talk about this veto competition. I mean, it was interesting that they evolved the Volarina thing a lot more. I think that maybe even more than was shown in the episode, people were really rooting against Brent. I feel like Brent kind of got that, but again, his ego won't allow him to believe that he's the actual target. Again, Britney saying, I almost won this when you were out first. Like, it was interesting. So it wasn't just about like knocking down all the pins, which is what Ballerina used to be in the past. You had to knock down certain pins,
which I liked. Yeah,
I will say that Derek F should have. He. If I'm Derek F, I'm kind of mad that I got drawn for this veto competition because he looked so bad at this. Like, he's not even spinning. He's literally just kind of walking around the thing at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because it just makes him look so fucking terrible. And I feel like people are just like, they're not going to take him seriously as a gamer. I don't know. Like, he just looks so bad. And I'm not even a fan of his, but he has grown on me a little bit this week because even he has become exasperated with Azah at various points.
Yeah.
So like he's not the worst now.
The one thing I will say about this competition is watching how they targeted Brent from the beginning and how he had to compete multiple times. By the second time he competed, he was done. He was absolutely done. I think there's a strategy to this competition now. If you're the target or if you're someone that's getting picked after pick after pick, you should go slow. Just from the very beginning, you go very slow because guess what? They're going to get themselves tired. They're going to fall down. Just go very slow. You won't get as dizzy. And then if you get to the next round, you're not wearing yourself out for the next round.
Do it one time. Literally just walk around the thing almost like Derek F did. But a little faster, but just walk around it so you're not dizzy. Then you can zip through the couches and knock down 3 numbers. If nothing else, you can knock down 2 numbers because I guarantee you somebody else who's doing it that gets all dizzy, they're going to have to do it a few times.
Exactly.
I feel like that's the way to do it if you're being targeted. But it's got to be tough, though, when you feel like your life is on the line to go slow.
Yes. But if you're going to have to compete 4 or 5 times if you're the target. You're going to have to pace yourself.
No, but he doesn't know he's the target.
Yeah, but you're a nominee. You're a nominee.
Yeah,
so still, if you're a nominee, you should still use that strategy just in case. You still want to get yourself off the block regardless.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
All right, so we won't go too much into the competition. It was fun. Christian ended up beating X at the end to win the competition. Before we get into the rest of this podcast, we got to take a short commercial break for our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Zach, back in the day, I used to love watching professional wrestling every Saturday morning after my cartoons. And whenever I did, my favorite part was enjoying cereal with it because cereal was cool. But, of course, growing up, cereal being the best part as a kid, I had to give it up. Why? Because I realized it was full of sugar and junk that you shouldn't really eat. Now, I've been trying to cut down on carbs, sugar, and unhealthy food and realized I basically can't eat anything anymore. I've been drinking protein shakes and powders for years, but I finally found a delicious way to get my protein before and after workouts. Now, hey, we're all trying to eat better, but healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring, and Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love but without all the bad stuff.
I am hooked on Magic Spoon too. This stuff has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. We're only talking about 140 calories in a serving. Plus, it's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. Now you can build your own box or get a variety pack with available flavors of cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, and cinnamon. I am absolutely hooked on Magic Spoon. Like I said, my favorite is to blend some of those flavors. I like to mix up my cocoa with my frosted. That is some sugary deliciousness that I can't resist in the morning. Johnny, what's your favorite?
Oh, I'm mixing the cocoa with the peanut butter, and I'm doing a peanut butter cup action. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's good stuff. And if you want to join us in eating some Magic Spoon, just go to magicspoon.com/survivor to grab your delicious cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code SURVIVOR at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked.
Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/survivor and use promo code SURVIVOR to save $5 off. And thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode. This episode of Reality NSFW is sponsored by Blue Chew. Say it with us, Blue Chew. Blue Chew is making waves and bringing more confidence to the bedroom by offering chewable tablets that can help men get stronger and longer lasting erections. That's right, we're giving away super hard dicks.
Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's tablets help men achieve harder, stronger erections to combat all forms of ED.
Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor offices, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part, it's all done online.
Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's sildenafil and tadalafil tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and they prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy.
Hey, if you're looking to give that immunity idol to someone, or you don't want to be voted out of a crater, don't worry, Blue Chew's got you covered. So if you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information.
And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's Blue Chew, BlueChew.com, promo code SURVIVOR to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Oh, that Blue Chew commercial gets me every time.
I know, right? I said, yeah, I have to talk to Fair Play. Like, at some point, I can help him record some new commercials because, like, these commercials are talking about Zach's in Morocco. Like, I mean, like, they're talking to Zach ain't here. Like, I mean, come on. What are we doing here?
All right. So let's get into, after the break, we come back to Brent, not upset that he didn't win the veto, that he still feels he has the votes to stay no matter what. And basically, he can't wait to see the look on X's face when he ends up staying this week.
He can't wait. He can't
wait.
It's gonna be so delicious. And right before the vote is revealed, right before Julie Chen Moonves says what the vote is, he's going to look at Xavier. And they didn't say this in the episode, but I'm telling you, this is what he said on the feeds. He's going to look at Xavier and he's going to say, checkmate.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I pray to God. I saw Hannah earlier today. She's like, she's so mad at Brent that she doesn't want to tell him anything. Like, originally his team was gonna originally his team was going to tell him 15 minutes before the episode that he's going to be evicted. Now she's like, I don't want to tell him anymore. So I'm really hoping that they don't tell him.
All right, let's all say a prayer to the BB gods that please Otev, do not let this happen. Like, please do not let anyone spoil this. Give us this moment.
I'm hoping that, production like does some shenanigans where they're like letting them know like you've got an hour till showtime, and then like a half hour into it, be like, okay, it's showtime, let's go.
Yes, they've got to, because they've got to know they've got gold on their hands. That it's literally right there for the taking. That this would be a huge moment for the show, because we haven't had a moment like this in quite a while, where it's going to be such a blindside to one person that their reaction is going to be everything.
Yeah, I know. It's like it reminds me. Go ahead.
No, I should say that we've had blindsides, but we haven't had a blindside like this. Like, I feel like this is very original.
Well, I feel like we're in such a pompous ass. I feel like it's going to be like, he's not going to give us the reaction that we want. Like, I feel like he's going to get evicted, and he's just going to be like, yeah, I knew. Like, I feel like that's what's going to happen. We always get a little let down. Of course, we haven't been let down this season. Yeah. So maybe he'll give us what we wanted and be like, man, they fucking got me, man. I'm totally like, I don't know what happened. Like, I want him to be like that. I want him to be like stumbling out of the house like Marcelo when he didn't use the veto on himself.
Yes,
like, yes. That's what I want.
You think he's gonna give us like a Richard Hatch, like I've been bamboozled, like type of reaction?
Hatch, like I never even liked that Hatch line because it was just like it was almost like he wasn't taking things seriously, which I understand as a former winner coming back. He wasn't gonna win anyway. Blah blah blah. So but I never liked that line. Yeah.
All right, so Christian won the veto. We come back from break. He still thinks he has the votes to stay. He says he is pleasantly surprised at how his brain is working.
I know, right? This is just
another great line.
Another great line. Like it's literally the Brent funeral on Wednesday night. It's what it is. Because I guarantee you, I mean, they might like show one or two things about Brent tomorrow night, but everything's going to be about what's coming up next week.
Oh yeah,
because there's so much stuff that's been happening. I've already talked about some of it, but yeah, like so many things are happening next week.
Right here. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Doug says BB20 had plenty of good blindsides in the first half. I agree with you. But it feels like a lifetime since we've been to Big Brother 20. Like,
yeah, I know, right?
We've gone through 3 U.S. seasons and 2.5. Big Brother Canada seasons. So essentially, it feels like it's been a while since we've had a good blindside. So give us this.
Yeah, the first half of Big Brother 20, that's probably the last time I really enjoyed Big Brother. Yeah. Up until like Nicole winning HOH in 21. That was a big stretch.
I did enjoy it.
She didn't make the right move, but I still loved her winning. I thought it was just fun to watch her win. And her and Cliff went on a little bit of a tear there. So,
that's what I was going to say. There was parts of Big Brother 21 I did enjoy. For the most part, that season was pretty cut and dry. But Big Brother 20, that was the beginning of Big Brother 20 was one of the best beginnings to a season of all time. And I mean, I was in the crowd when Caitlyn couldn't figure out the puzzle. Like,
were you really?
I was there. I was at the show.
God.
I've gone to 3. Get this. I've gone to 3 live episodes. I went to Austin getting blindsided, walking out with his shoes off.
That's where I first talked to you.
And that's where I talked to you for the first time. Then I went to the Big Brother 19 finale to see Josh win over Paul. And I had to wait for 10 hours by myself without a phone in front of CBS Studios because I knew if I wasn't the first one in line, I probably wasn't going to get in. And they let 3 people in, me and 2 people. There was a group of 4 girls behind me. Only 2 of them got to go in and myself.
Oh my God.
I was literally by myself. That's how crazy of a super fan I am.
Wow.
I signed up for one of those free things to get to go to an episode.
Yeah.
I went and I had gone before and I didn't get in because we were like 15th in line and they only let 10 people in. So you get to go and they'll basically invite you back again if you didn't get to go in the first time. But it's always random and you have to accept right away. So I just randomly one day was looking at my emails and sure enough, they said, hey, there's a spot for the Big Brother finale. If you want to take it. And I was like, okay, yes, I'm getting a ticket, but I know that I'm probably not going to get in unless I'm one of the first ones there. So I was like, babe,
wow,
I'm going to go. I'm going to just stand out there early in the morning. I know I can't bring my phone or anything, but I'm just going to stand there and wait. And because it's a Big Brother finale, when am I ever going to get this opportunity again?
I'm just amazed that you did that. Wow.
And the security guard thought I was the most psychotic person of all time. He kept saying, you got to stand back further, sir. You got to stand back further. But once I get in, and the best part about it, they talked about the 3 of us that got in. We were sitting next to Frankie Grande and Mr. Impeccable or whatever.
Jesse.
Jesse
Yeah.
and Nicole and Victor. And they were all asking me questions like, oh, you're some kind of super fan. Like, what's happened in this? It was just a crazy experience. And then we got to go to the rap party. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but we snuck
No, it's fine. I'm sure everybody listening is loving it. Yeah.
There was 3 of us. We all snuck into the rap party because they had these bracelets on, and they didn't know that we were just the random fans that got in, the 3 lucky fans that got in. They thought we were all these, special VIPs that were supposed to be at the episode. So we snuck in. I found a girl that had a phone that was VIP, so she took pictures and texted me the pictures, so I got to meet all the people backstage. I got to go backstage at Big Brother. It was insane. It was absolutely insane.
I had no idea this happened to you.
And then I got to go to, and then lastly, I got a ticket to go to the Caitlyn getting voted out of Big Brother, or getting the puzzle situation.
That was one of my greatest nights. Yeah,
like, the 3 episodes I had to go to. Caitlyn, Austin, and then Big Brother 19, where I got to sneak into the finale party. It was just amazing. I had such luck.
That was such greatness because I had been complaining about Caitlyn for the longest time. And then we just assumed she's going to stay. So we were like looking forward into the future with Caitlyn in our games. And then somehow she got herself evicted / eliminated from the game. I went on with Rob. Rob's acting kind of like he's mad. But then like right before we go live, he puts the blanket on with the sunglasses and everything. And he's never been so mad in his life. He was just so mad that we lost Caitlyn of all people.
I was texting you like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And then, the best part was Big Brother 17. It was a day before the episode was going live too, that Austin got basically eliminated. I
remember,
so we had to keep our mouths shut, but I was just like,
yeah, you were not. Yeah, you were going to tell me. Yeah, exactly. I know, right? I will say that Rob was mad because we were going to be deprived of all of that Caitlyn. Then Rob quickly found out when you have too much Caitlyn that people don't like it too much. I'm just saying.
Oh, too soon?
The mail we got about that.
Oh man. I can only imagine. I didn't get to hear that story, but you'll have to tell me offline.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sorry about my little tangent, everybody. I see all these comments in this comment section. Thank you. It was a lot of fun, and I love telling that story.
Yeah, that's great. Excellent. Well, I mean, the episode. Let's be honest. The episode was pretty boring.
So we need a little side.
Exactly. A little side. Yes.
I like hearing people's Big Brother stories. Like I applied for this show. I like to hear other people applying for the show or how they got to go on to an episode. I like to hear these things because as a community, this is stuff that we all enjoy, that we all can take a part of and feel like we're there in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I love hearing it too. Like it really makes me smile. I actually had no idea. I knew the Austin thing had happened. And I had talked to you. I'm trying to remember. Somebody went to the Big Brother 14 taping and talked to me after that, but it wasn't you. It must have been somebody else. And I wasn't even at RHAP at the time, but I was like talking amongst all the super fans. So I'm trying to remember who that was. But I've definitely had some insider scoops, and I've loved each one of them, and I've kept your secret all this time.
I'll tell you what, my girlfriend at the time was just like, why haven't you texted me back all night? I thought you were dead on the side of the road. I'm like, I'm sorry. I had to go to the after party. I'm not going to pass that up.
Right. I know. That's
Needless to say, we didn't stay together very long.
We didn't stay together. Oh, So to make a long story short, this episode, Christian doesn't use the veto. Brent comes up with some plan to be like, okay, well, here's what I think. You shouldn't use the veto, but we should make it look like you're going to use the veto, but you don't. I don't even know I didn't even know what stupid plan he came up with. Whatever it was what they were already going to do in the first place. They were never going to use the veto because he thinks that he goes home, or he thinks he stays against Britney. And they all know that they're playing him. You saw Xavier. I loved Xavier at the end when he was talking about keep your hands and your feet in the right at all times.
That was
Make
so
sure
great.
You're on your way to see Julie Chen Moonves. Blah blah blah. Like that was very fun. I like that. And like Brent's gonna be evicted tomorrow. Unless something crazy happens with Britney tonight, but I mean, like it's 99.9% that Brent's gonna be evicted tomorrow. And like basically, it's all about who's gonna win HOH tomorrow. Who's going to try to win HOH tomorrow? I'm really hoping it's a crapshoot. So that they can't kind of finagle who wins HOH.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Somehow Siri thinks I'm talking to her. Go away. I'm not talking to you. But yeah, it's all about next week. It's all about next week and who gets targeted. I feel like the top people, Hannah, Whitney, maybe Christian, maybe Alyssa. Alyssa was kind of target numero uno and she's kind of slid down the way. I feel like a lot of people are getting a little bit of fire, meaning like they're getting scuffed by the fire that is Big Brother, by all the gaming that's happening in the house. But I do feel like Hannah and Whitney are probably the two most likely nominees next week, depending on who wins HOH. But if somebody from the Aces wins HOH, then who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a foregone conclusion. We're gonna lose Brent this week. Good riddance. But hey, this next week is pivotal. I agree with you. It's pivotal. It's going to really show everyone's hand going forward, especially
really
if certain people win. I think this is where people are going to really start playing the game hard. And I'm excited for it. I'm ready to see what happens. And honestly, who knows? We could have a completely crazy week ahead of us.
We really could. I mean, like, I'm really hoping it is a crapshoot competition. I know people hate crapshoot competitions, but god damn it, like they're trying to pick like, okay, I don't want to compete for it. You want to compete for it. I want this person to compete for it so that they can win. And so I don't want this person to compete for it so that their team can't be safe.
Yep.
I don't like it when they can control things like that. I want it to be a little bit more funky as far as like, I mean, I know it'd be terrible probably for her game, but if Tiffany won HOH, I wouldn't be mad. Like, I really wouldn't. Like, and the other thing, I heard Taryn say this. I thought it was the most cogent thing that he said. And Taryn says a lot of great stuff, but like, I thought the one thing he said was the fact that a lot of these people in this house are very, they're very scared about making waves with their HOH. Because they saw what happened to Frenchie, and they saw what happened with Kylan and X when they like basically did the house's bidding, and now they are in good graces with everybody. But the one thing that people don't understand about winning HOH is that when you win HOH, you can change the narrative of the game. You can do things when you're HOH. You can change things so that even though people might want to come after you, if they get mad at you, maybe they can't. Maybe you put them in a bad position. Maybe other people. The thing I think that's really underrated about winning HOH is if you put two people on the block who are in an alliance together, who both have people on their side. And of course, that requires you to sort of know the underlying status of the house, which maybe is problematic for some people, I recognize. But still, if you can put two people up on the block and really make the people who are in with them fight amongst themselves. Like, that was the thing I always wanted to see last week, was Cody on the block against anybody, because you know what? I don't think Cody would have been evicted. I don't think there was never a scenario where Cody could have been evicted with the state of the house the way it was, but it would have done a lot of detrimental effect to his game, because people would have saw, okay, who's lying with who's loyal to who. He never had to pay the piper on that, and that's why he got to the end without having to get any skin in the game. And I feel like if you're HOH, the way to make sure that you're not the target is to get other people mad at each other. That way you can slink into the background, even if you made waves with your nominations and other people are mad at each other and they can duke it out and you can fade into the background. That's what I would like to see somebody do.
Absolutely. And I think we could definitely get that this week too. I
think a Whitney HOH, and Alyssa HOH.
Yep. I mean,
there's so many possibilities.
So many.
A Britney HOH, God, if she put up Kylan and X, oh my God.
Oh, man. That's going to be very interesting, because then where are people going to turn their loyalty? That would really make or break this whole season. Honestly, I think it could go either way if that were to be the case.
Oh man, wow, that would be crazy.
So hey, we could be in for an extremely unpredictable week. So as much as some people might think these last 3 weeks were boring, were predictable, I think going forward we're going to have a very, very, very fun season ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I really am. Again, this week was where the rubber meets the road.
Yes,
I know. Again, even if it's the most obvious nominations, even if it's just Hannah and Whitney, there are people who are so loyal to both those people. I just feel like that's going to be messy. It's going to be messy. Yeah.
All right. So, Brent, is there anything else you want to break down about this episode?
This episode, again, pretty boring. I'm excited about this week. I do notice that Tiffany, look, I have so much empathy for Tiffany. I feel like she's sort of become the fan icon at this point, meaning that she's the avatar that the fans have put all of their business into. And she doesn't know that's happening, but like, we're doing it to her. And I feel like she has so many irons in the fire. Like, she's trying to maintain the cookout. She's trying to get all those people to jury, but a lot of those people are not playing very well. And she's like, I heard her say, I didn't come here for an agenda. Now, I don't know what that was in reference to. I think it was in reference to the cookout. But I understand I shouldn't say I understand. I don't understand where she's coming from, but I get where she's coming from. I don't know how to say it other than that. I have empathy for where she's coming from. How's that? She's trying to do something that's never been done before, but she also recognizes that it may not be good for her game. And so she might like she recognizes that Claire is somebody that she says everything to. She trusts Claire. She's bonded with Claire from the moment they laid eyes on each other in the Big Brother house. But yet Claire is not in the cookout.
Yep.
And she doesn't want people on social media to feel a certain type of way about her choosing Claire over the cookout at some point, if it comes to that. And God, I've never had to even think about things like that before. So
yeah.
I
No, I agree with you. I think that Tiffany, I don't know. I'm excited to see where her game goes. I think she's got plenty of different avenues she can go down. But like we said earlier, I think that she needs to be emotionally invested in some of these people a little bit more, just a little bit more. Don't have to be full on invested like Azah, but you can be genuine to people. You can not be such a game bot at times, because people want to feel that you feel their empathy, that you feel some empathy towards them and the way they're feeling. Because if you can't do that, then you can't connect with people on a human level. And we're not saying she's like that. We've seen her, in this house still being like that in certain extents, but in some extent she's not. And I would like to see her be more like that to evolve her game. And one more little small thing real quick that I want to tell you guys before we let go. On the Caitlyn eviction episode, one little fun story. There's a guy in the crowd that really, he's like the livener of the crowd that really pumps up the crowd to get you going. And he was telling us about the competition she was going to compete in and how basically everyone on production had done that competition and no one did it in under 2 minutes or under like 45 seconds or something. Like everyone got it done in under 45 seconds. Right. Basically, it was a shoe-in to get back in the house. And their jaws were on the floor when she didn't finish it. He literally turned to the crowd. He's like, what do we do now? Like, we weren't expecting this to happen. And then I saw Allison Grodner
iconic
and other people backstage all losing their minds. They're like literally she had her hand on her face like this, like couldn't believe that she didn't finish this. And I'm just like, I know who that is. That's Allison Grodner. And she's shocked right now. I was like, I can't wait to tell you all. But yeah, it was amazing. The whole production was losing their mind. Couldn't believe that she didn't finish it.
That's just so great to hear, because again, they were trying to rig it the way they wanted to. And I understand it's a reality show. Like there's little things you can do in reality shows, but still, like the fact that and that had huge ramifications for that season. The fact that she got herself evicted means that there's one less person in the house. Mm-hmm. And now maybe they have to change plans and do things differently than they were going to do. Like that, everything about that.
And she was such a great character. Too, on the show.
I know I've had my differences with Caitlyn. I think she's a little bit of a thin-skinned bitch sometimes on Twitter. she is. I'm just keeping it real with you. But on the TV, she was fantastic. She was
fantastic character.
She was wonderful. She really was.
So yeah, that was my little stories. But I love telling you guys that. So hopefully one day we'll have more to tell you. But anything else, Brent, before we get out of here?
I'm good. I think it's a great podcast with you, Bobby. I love talking Big Brother with you. I love hearing your stories, and it was awesome. Can't wait to see you next week when this game really, hopefully, breaks open. And if it doesn't break open next week, then it'll definitely break open the week after that. I mean, again, maybe the Hannah Whitney nominations are what's going to happen, and then Whitney gets evicted, whatever. But I just have I have a feeling it's not going to be that easy for the fourth week in a row.
I agree. And I think that we're going to have a great week ahead of us. Regardless of what happens, I still think it's going to be an exciting week going forward. All right. So thank you for joining us here at Reality NSFW for our Big Brother coverage. We will be back next Wednesday following the Wednesday episode. You can catch us live on YouTube. For @OneLuckyGay Brent, I am Bobby Goodsby @GoodsbyBobby on Twitter. Please have a great night, and we will see you next week.
The Olympics, Euros, baseball, major championships, and concerts are all in this summer. But you know what isn't? A wild and hairy bush. Tame your pubes with help from our friends at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Their 4th-generation performance package includes the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. If an athlete treats their body like royalty, why not treat your pubes like Olympic gold? Fellas, do right by your balls and join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com with the code SURVIVOR.
Brent, if you're paying attention right now, I know that you've probably had a mishap in the past and you've been trimming down there with not the tools for the job. Well, Brent, that's right. I'm talking to you. I have come to save you, but not just me. The folks at Manscaped. The world is starting to open up, and the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is here to help you get ready. Inside, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, plus 2 free gifts. What's that, you ask? Performance boxer briefs and the Shed travel bag.
Talk about a world-class dismount into the post-quarantine world. This package is the perfect package for your package and peak performance in whatever sport you desire. Wink, wink. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take the podium. This 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on-off switch. You can engage a travel lock and gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? Michael Phelps is drooling just thinking about the possibilities.
Now, this package also comes with the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in both your nose and ear. This tool is a lock to take home gold in the biathlon. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motored 360-degree rotary dual blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent against nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes.
After trimming your pubes, show them some sportsmanship with Manscaped's liquid formulations. The Crop Preserver ball deodorant and Crop Reviver ball toner are the key to feeling victorious this year. Manscaped's also throwing in 2 free gifts to the Performance Package 4.0. That's the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed travel bag.
Now, go right now to get 20% off and free shipping using promo code SURVIVOR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping with promo code SURVIVOR at manscaped.com. Achieve pubic glory this year with Manscaped.
Lucy Nicotine is a company founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Finally, tobacco alternatives that don't suck.
Researched and developed for 3 years to be made for people, not patients. Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate. Lucy also has a lozenge with 4 milligrams of nicotine in cherry ice flavor. Each and every flavor actually tastes great and is convenient and discreet. Products can be enjoyed anywhere, on flights, at work, on the go, or even in the gym.
I am so happy that Lucy is sponsoring us. Ever since they came on board, I have gotten no less than 5 of my friends transitioned over to Lucy and put their cigarettes down. They like the gum. I'm used to seeing the packages all around. This stuff is great, and it's really helping people make much healthier choices. So get on board and join the Lucy movement.
Hey, it's 2021. Get rid of your cigarettes, unplug your vape, throw out your dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. This is the real deal. A subscription to Lucy comes directly to your door each month. It's so simple that you don't even have to leave your house because Lucy has delivery down.
Reality NSFW listeners, go to lucy.co and use promo code SURVIVOR to get 20% off all products, including gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co and use promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. Also, I have to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's lucy.co, and be sure to use that promo code SURVIVOR.